Hello everyone, welcome to worshiptutorials.com. My name is Bradford, and in this video we are going to teach you how to play, as we typically do, an amalgamation, to use a big word, of the guitar parts in Passion's song, You Are the Lord. Our approach when we do playthroughs, and typically when we're teaching these songs, is how to show you how to be one guitar player. Not because we think that that's the best way, but because we find that that's a little harder for people to kind of take parts that already exist and try to figure out, what should I play? We get asked that regularly. People want to know, if I'm the electric guitar player, what should I focus on? And so that's how we're approaching this. There's not really a rhythm part if you watch the playthrough, which we of course will link. If you watch the playthrough, I'm not really playing rhythm at all, like full chords. The tag rather, on the back end of the chorus, I'm playing chords, but I'm just raking through them, and it's not even like a rhythm part. It's just strum the chord, strum the next chord, strum the next chord. You'll see when we get there. So the song, 71 BPM, we're doing it in the key of A. I don't think it's too high. Brian did an acoustic cover of it in the key of G. If you're wanting to learn how to play the song, you could just watch Brian play in G, put a capo on 2, play the same chords, the key of A. Boom. Easy peasy. But we're doing the key of A. The biggest thing you're going to need for this song, honestly, you could do this song with maybe one drive with a little bit of a push, one delay, one big verb, and chorus. We do things a little differently because we're using a Helix so we have a Helix patch, Axe Effects 3 and FM3. I'm using the Helix right now. It's based off of our Match JMP model. But I'll tell you what we're doing as we go through. I'll tell you what effects to use for the most part, kind of how to dial them in. And as always, I'll try to make sure to point you to a more specific method or technique to utilize when playing these parts, as opposed to just telling you, play this fret and play this note because it's right. So we're gonna dive into it now. All right, so the beginning of the song starts just piano. It's a chorused out piano. It sounds lovely, so good. Depending on how you're doing this song, you may not play at all to the first chorus. If you're gonna do anything, maybe some swells. It depends. What I would suggest there is it's in key of A, so utilize either your pentatonic or F sharp minor pentatonic or the A major scale, and just play some nice notes to kind of give it a little movement and kind of create something. So honestly, I would probably just sit out. It's nice to give space. You don't really need it, because the first chorus is when you should intentionally come in. And so we have 2 swells buttons on the patches. One's just swells and one's dirt swells, because it just sounds like there's a little more to it. So when you come in on that first chorus, you're coming in on an A. What I'm doing, I'm using this D shape. It's exactly the same as you're playing a D. If you would like to, you can use 3 fingers. If I'm doing this kind of shape for this purpose, like swells or playing further up the neck, I'm gonna use my first finger to flatten it. But all you're gonna do is take the same thing you do with the D shape, but you're gonna do it here, up on the 9th and the 10th fret. The 10th fret on the B string, and the 9th fret on the G and the E string. That has a E, A, and a C sharp. It's stacked that way, or actually from high to low, it's C sharp, A, E. That's all you need for an A chord. I typically bring back, if I can, I bring back the 3rd a lot of times. I don't really like having all that in there. So I'm playing this, the A and the E. So I would just do swells during that first chorus, maybe with a little bit of dirt, longer delay and reverb times, and just follow the progression of the song. Nothing too fancy. Play more notes if you're the only instrument, or you guys want to keep it a bigger sound during that first chorus, or play less notes because you're trying to keep it a little softer. Either way, just swells. Very simple. Next part is moving into verse 2. So for verse 2, I chose to play electric guitar 3, at least that's what it's labeled in rehearsal mix. It's not busy, it's not complex, it's not distracting. One guitar is really just hitting one note. A big thing that I do all the time is just hit a 1, so whatever key you're in. This case A, I hit an A. And I'll do that to move something along, and it's a lot different than playing. Like, you don't want full chords and it's too much to start switching, following the exact chords, and you don't need to play diamond. You don't need to do that for that first verse. If you're the only guitar, either one note, just this A. In this case, this is the 2nd fret on the G string. If you're looking to play a 1 in a pentatonic shape, it's always whatever fret is the root fret, the hunkered down, like the bass fret for your pentatonic. So in this case, F sharp minor pentatonic scale starts on 2nd fret and it's the G string. It's always your 1. The part I used is a little farther back, buried a little bit more, but I found it kind of gave it a little more life and filled things in a little bit more. So we're gonna play, kind of imagine your A shape, more like an A2 shape. So just 2 fingers, initially if you do that A chord like that, where you kind of leave the B and the E open. But what we're gonna do is just use the 2nd fret, because this is an A note, remember, we just talked about that. A note, 2nd fret, G string, and we're gonna kind of do this. That's kind of like the rhythmic pattern we're playing. We'll have dotted eighth and chorus, and I'll show you that in a second. But we're gonna hit this. All we're doing there is hammering on, kind of keeping that G string on its own. And when you hammer on, you're hammering on the 2nd fret of the B string and getting that E string as well. And you're not gonna hit the open B string until you lift off the finger. So you get this. And if you add the delay and the chorus to it, I mean, like I said, you could not use the chorus. We would strongly encourage you to, because it sounds nice. It's different too. It keeps it interesting. But going into the chorus, I played a riff. There's another guitar track. I think it was like guitar 4 or 5. And like, I think it was rhythm later on in the song, but just for this one part, it did this one riff. And that, if you would like, going right into this D shape, this A triad up here. Part of the reason why I did it was because it led right up to that shape. You hear that G sharp. That's your 7th note. The 7th note in a scale is what is known as the leading tone, because it's leading you. Your ear hears that, especially here's our A, key of A. You hear that leading tone. Hum an A now. Like you could do it on your own. I would hope you landed here. You hear that tension. So I like doing it because it's already, there's the G sharp right there, and there's a shape I'm playing. So that riff is real easy. You're playing on the G string on the 6th fret, and then on the B string 5, 7, 9. 10th fret for the A. Remember, I talked about it getting D shape, 9 and 10 frets. All right, so I would still use same sound as you're coming out of that, right into the chorus. Verse part with the little pre-chorus lick leading into the chorus. It sounds like this. So I went ahead and just played the chorus riff so you kind of hear it a little more in context. That bend is tough. It's tough. The cool thing is when you're bending, so you're really just sliding up 2 frets because we're going from this A shape right here and bending up a whole step. So we go to the 12th fret. So if you don't like the idea of doing that bend, I get it. Bends sound easy to do for me when I'm practicing. And then when I'm playing, sometimes I get like, I don't know if I can nail that. Especially if I'm trying to be on stage and actually look like I want to be there. If I work on a song so much and I'm like so focused on playing, you get kind of stressed out. At least I do, because I'm like, man, I don't look like I want to be here, and I can tell. Like I look like all I'm doing is focusing on playing. So, super easy thing you do. Hit this, A. go to this, and just do like a hammer-on. It doesn't have quite the same thing. You're playing the right notes. Maybe you don't like the idea of doing that. The bend allows you to control the ascent into the A note from the B, into the C sharp note, I'm sorry, into the B. Because that's C sharp at this point. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna wait to come around to that E. What we're doing here's an E bar chord, right? This is an A, for example, here's an E, here's an A bar chord, keeping the same kind of fingering. Like we're using this finger back here as acting as our 0 fret, right? Come up here. Inversions are nothing more on guitar, if you're trying to play inversions, are nothing more than just stripping away some notes and playing the top strings. In this instance, we're just gonna focus on the D, the G, and the B. And this is on the 9th fret. It's gonna give you like a little E right there. You're gonna hammer on from the 9th to the 10th on the B string and pull off again to the 9th. So after you hit the E with a little skip, you're basically suspending it and pulling off again. And then if you keep your finger right here, we're gonna do like a little skip kind of line. Where all we're gonna do there is just hit the 9th fret on your G string, 9th fret in your B, and then hammer onto the G. Back to the 9th fret on the G, to the 11th fret on the G. And then you wanna land on, if you're more comfortable, you could just, and keep that F sharp minor shape going, and that way you're there to hit the, just like that. So let me play that real quick, and then I'll show you this little walk up at the end. So, with all the sounds, which in this case is just dotted eighth, the delay, overdrive, we're using a king of tone here, or we're using a Dynadrive actually, that's what we're doing. And we're using the Hall verb, which is the new dynamic Hall, which sounds amazing. So. That's it for that. And then there's a walk up. This part happens twice. What happens the first time is you do the walk up once. The next time we go, and then we go back to the chorus, and then we do the walk up twice at the end. It tags it. So what we're doing is we're hitting a 2, 1/3, and then a 5, suspended 5. You hit it again at the second part, right? If you get that B note in there, it really sounds nice. So, what I'm doing here, the 2 is a B minor 7, key of A, second note is 2, second chord is always minor. We're gonna do B minor 7, which if you're down here, it looks like this. In this instance, you're basically using your first finger to bar the complete 14th fret, putting your third finger on the D string on the 16th fret. You're using that bar G string, and then you're putting your second finger on the 15th fret, and you're gonna get this. Then we're gonna do an A over C sharp, which guitarists don't always need to play those kind of inversions because a lot of other people are, but I find that the movement of the electric guitar, it sounds more like a part. So, bar the whole, you're already kind of doing it, but I just scoot my finger down. I switch. You could just go like this, lift everything up if you want. But the way you're gonna do this is use your first finger, 14th fret, make sure you're at least barring the D, the G, and the B. Then use your third finger to get the 16th fret on the A string. That's a C sharp. So if you do the same thing, but down an octave, you got this, here's down an octave. So if you're playing rhythm, maybe that's what you want to do. Guitar part, the lead, what I'm doing this F kind of shape. I am using my thumb. You could probably get away with that, outdoing that if you wanted to. I don't think you actually resolve it. I still do the full-on chord because it's easier. My brain thinks that way. You're basically going to stack. You got your first finger on the 12th fret of the B string. You don't need the second finger, but I put it on the 13th fret of the G. And then I put my pinky on the 14th fret of the G instead. That's the suspended part. That's all the suspended chord is. That's all the suspended chord is. You're sharping the third note in the chord, and then you're resolving it by dropping it. You're flattening it back to where it was. Then you put your third finger on the 14th fret of the D string, and if you can, some people can't, maybe it's easier up here because it's closer together, 12th fret on the E chord on the E string. Then you're going to do it a second time as the tag for the second half of the course. So there's that. So here's what it sounds like. Let's do everything all together now, the lead part into that little tag at the end. So now the bridge. This bridge is, the lead part is pretty Coldplay-ish to me. You're just... It's not the same. Fixed shoe's even simpler, but this is still pretty simple. So we're playing 16th notes the whole time. We're gonna start on the 7th fret on the B string, a full measure of that. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're gonna slide up to the A note, which is the 10th fret on the B string. We're gonna play that note for 2 beats. We're gonna play each note during this walk down for 2 beats, but it's gonna be a set of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 2 and 3 and 4 and you're gonna slide back up. So let's do this. You got from A, 10th fret, 9th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, skip to the 2nd fret. Up to the 5th fret. We're gonna do it again, but this time when we come to the end, we're gonna add this this little high part again. So it'll be like this. So then the second part is like this, similar, but we're gonna end differently. So instead of holding onto this 5th fret for a full 4 counts in one measure, we're gonna hold onto it for 2 counts and then slide up for the last 3 and 4 on the 10th and the 9th fret. So this is what we get that time. And we do it again. And then the 4th time, there's a slight difference again, right? So we play it 3 different ways, really. Let's break it down into 3 sections. We'll call it part A, part B, part C. We play part A, which I said taught first. Then we play part B, which adds the little... And we go back to part A. And then we go to part C, which is basically like the other 2 parts, except we start walking up instead of walking down. So part A, part B, part A, and then we do like this C thing, which is like this. So the difference there is after we do the 7th fret, the 10, the 9, we walk it down to the 5th fret, and instead of dropping to the 2nd, we go back up to the 10th, play it for a measure of 4, and then down to the 9th fret, play it for a measure of 4. So let's do it all together so you can hear exactly what's happening. The sound here is honestly just like the chorus in a lot of ways. You don't have to do, we changed things up just so it gave it a little more saturation under the fingers while playing. We used the dual delay to kind of give it a little more room too. But here's what everything sounds like all together. So that's basically it. If you watch the video again, the playthrough video after watching this, you'll notice that it is pretty straightforward. You really just have one verse part, one chorus part, and a couple different ways of playing the bridge. And that's it. You just drop them in according to the order of the song. Very easy and straightforward. I've gotten to talk to Brian Carl a couple times. I've gotten to text with him a few times. Such a genuinely nice guy who really just loves playing guitar for Jesus with passion and with passion. And he likes seeing other guitar players play guitar. And so between him and the other guy that plays with passion, typically, and I'm not 100% sure if it's both of these guys, is Chris Donovan. And the way they play is like, this is the heart of the guitar part, but we don't always just play it like, it's not robotic. They add some feeling to it. I've noticed this if you listen to the guitar tracks in Glorious Day. Each time the guitar part comes around, there's just a little difference, just a little something. Same thing with Holy Ground. We did a playthrough of that, and I realized that too. It's like, these guys know what they're doing, and they kind of just play it differently from time to time because it's fun. And they don't play the whole song exactly the same way. Like, this is the solo sound. We're going to play this, or the turn sound. We're going to play it the exact same way. This is the chorus lead. We're going to play it the exact same way. And I like that because that's what I do. I kind of play differently depending on what's going on. If the worship leader's leading differently, if the room feels different, I may play the part differently. I may play louder. I may play quieter if it's necessary. I may not play as much. I may play more. And I appreciate that. So take these parts, and this is what you are free to do anyways, at any time, playing any song. Take these parts, learn them, get them under your fingers, get them drilled in so you know what's going on, and just keep them locked away as like the basis, the idea of what you're going for, and play like that. And that's kind of what we try to do. We try to help people take all these different guitar parts and understand what they are, and just equip you to do what feels best for your set, for your ministry, with your team. At the time of us shooting this video, there's a Helix patch, an FM3 patch, and a AxeFX 3 patch, and we will link those below. As of the time of this video though, there's only a playthrough of Helix, and we are planning to do a couple others soon as well. There's an acoustic playthrough that Brian did, and who knows what else we may do. But thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next one.